So this is another episode of Totally Detailed, and we have Lewys Hart on the line from True Perfection Detailing in Wales.
Hello.
Lewys, introduce yourself.
Yeah, so my name is Lewis. I'm the owner and operator of True Perfection Detailing in South Wales, sunny South Wales.
Sunny South Wales, not wet South Wales.
No, not wet.
No. Well, let's hope it isn't wet anyway. I think we've had enough water down
Yes.
in parts like that, haven't we, of late? So yeah, it's never a good thing getting drenched and flooded and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
Obviously, you do detailing. Is there certain things in the detailing industry that you do? Is it just cars? Do you get involved with bikes, buses, trucks, or anything like that?
So we've done a couple of boats.
Yep.
We have a contract with a couple of companies that we look after their lorries.
Yep.
And we dabble in a couple of bikes, but yeah, bikes aren't really my thing. So I leave those to another detailing company in Wales, Cheeky Monkeys.
Yep.
Which are excellent at bikes, really, really good. And they're accredited for a lot of ceramics that can be used on bikes. So
yeah.
I tend to just leave it with the guys that really like to do it,
That know them.
Yeah.
I like bikes, but I'm not into bikes, if you see what I mean. I wouldn't ever ride one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I like the MotoGP, but I wouldn't ride one.
No, it's riding bikes is not my thing unless it's a push bike, but a motorbike.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, we like our push bikes.
Yeah. Whereas motorbikes is not. I like looking at them, but they're not my cup of tea to ride or detail. Really, to be fair. Very fiddly things.
Yeah.
And customers are very particular, with what they have used on them as well.
Yeah. You're right.
Machines and everything else, and they like to stick with specific brands, and you start cleaning them and taking it off and putting something else on. They're not happy, and it just causes all sorts of issues. So we just sort of stay well clear of them. We've done a few past, but we just stay well out the way and leave other people to it. It's as simple as that. And I've passed them on to Adam. Before detailing and Hull.
Yeah.
It's just the easiest thing to do is pass them on to Adam, let him deal with them, and do it that way. So it's just the easiest way to do it. How long have you been in the industry?
Just coming up to about 4 years now.
All right. Okay.
I think. Yeah. We started part-time first.
Yeah.
Whilst we built the client base and built the brand and the business. But yeah.
So quite a newcomer to detailing.
Yeah. But we've done a lot,
Yeah.
I've achieved what I wanted to achieve. I've been away with you and done leather training and got some accreditations with certain ceramic companies and stuff. So yeah, enjoying it.
Yeah. Well, that's the main thing. If you don't enjoy it, then don't do it. But if you've got to enjoy what you do.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah.
It becomes a chore, doesn't it, at the end of the day?
Yeah, it does.
So obviously 4 years. What did you do before that?
I was in telecoms. So I started off as a telecoms engineer, fitting broadband for Virgin Media, and I like to always try and progress myself. So I worked my way up through the business and got to construction manager.
All right. Okay.
For the whole of South Wales.
Yeah.
So I did that. I did that for about 7 years, I think. So that was that's my forte, is digging holes and fixing broadband.
So you're one of the guys that stand over a hole like typical English people, and 6 people and 1 man digging.
Yeah, well, yeah. Being that I was the supervisor, I was the one leaning on the barrier.
You're the one stood there looking. Everybody's like, look at that lazy one. He's just stood there looking.
Yeah, that was me in the cleanest high-vis jacket.
That's it. Yeah. You got to have them, haven't you? At the end of the day.
Exactly. Yeah.
Got to have someone to make sure it's all being done right and oversee the work and stuff.
Of course.
So was that sort of was that like a demanding hours, or was it sort of just set hours, or?
Yeah, it was a very hard job, very, very hard job. You're talking 500 to 600 miles a week in the van.
Yeah.
Driving around sites, very data orientated, of making sure dates are reached. Lots of meetings, lots of phone calls. And yeah, it just all got too much. So I just thought, I'm just going to do something that I love.
Yeah.
And that I've always loved. So I just texted my manager and said, come and get my phone, my laptop and my van, and I'm done.
Easy as that.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, because it was just at the time we went full time just before all the COVID started hitting, really.
Yeah.
So I was working from home anyway, and I was just like, I spoke to the wife, and I was just like, right, I physically can't do this no more, so I'm gonna go for it.
Yeah.
And yeah, never look back.
Yeah. No, that's the main thing. It's if you know, it's like with anything. If you don't like it, don't do it. It's, you know, you've got to enjoy what you do. It's very
Yeah,
much.
of course, yeah, definitely.
You know, there's obviously times when you get challenges with with running a business, but you know, there's an ultimate goal at the end of the day, because you're doing it for you, you know, and your family, rather than making somebody else wealthy. You know,
Of course, yeah, yeah.
it's what I like about what we do. You know, we're doing it for us in the future, for family members, and you know, you're not working for somebody else making them more money.
Yeah.
You know, and it's, yes, I've got staff, so they obviously work for us, but every company has to have staff that works for them at the end of the day, because not everybody's cut out to be business people. You know,
Yeah, of course, yeah.
it's not easy being a businessman. Everybody seems to think, oh, they've got their own business, they must be rolling it, life's easy, they can have the time off whenever they want, and very far from it.
From it, yes,
Very far.
that was a massive learning curve for me.
Yeah, it's, I would say up until 2 years ago, the last time I had gone on holiday prior to that was just before 9/11 hit.
Oh wow.
So it's
Okay.
quite some time.
Yeah, yeah.
Was it? What was the anniversary recently? Was it 10 or 15 years? Probably longer.
Well,
Was it
it was 2001, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So
So yeah,
20 years.
20 years. So yeah, but 20 years I hadn't been on holiday.
Well,
Nowhere, not out of the country, nowhere. Literally just stayed in this country, just doing work, doing nothing other than work, work, work. No holiday for 20 years. And then people say, you must be rolling in it.
yeah.
If I was rolling in it, I'd have had a holiday every year.
Yeah.
at least one, let alone, you know, or two.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's not easy, you know, having your own business. It's very, very difficult indeed. So obviously with the detailing, what would you say is like one of your favorite cars that you've done?
One of my favorite cars. Well, I'm a massive BMW fan. So luckily I get to look after a couple of nice M2s. And I do like the M2.
Yep.
You know, it's a nice car. It's pretty quick. So yeah, so M2s are probably my favorite cars to work on. Or anything German, really. You know, yep. I do like an Audi. I did a nice Audi Q8, I think, last week in silver, which came out really nice.
Yeah, good. So obviously with all the different sort of vehicles, what sort of cars do you find have like the hardest paints to work with?
Well, I had a Porsche Macan in last week, I think, and I just couldn't get my head around why the paint wouldn't correct how I normally do it. You know, I was really frustrating, and it was phone calls, and I reached out to the pro valeters, and I was like, look, guys, I said I'm doing everything that I usually do, and it's just I'm just not getting a result. I can't see a result here.
Yeah.
Even changing pads and liquid compounds and stuff. But yeah, it was really, really hard, and hard on me as well, you know, because you want to get a result for a customer. A customer's spending a lot of money with you to have the paint, you know, the car machine coated and machine corrected and coated. So, but yeah, it was very, very hard.
What did you do in the end to get it all resolved?
We just changed compound and pads completely. I'm a Rupes man myself, and I use their liquid and I use their pads. So we just changed that to Koch Chemi, which is something I've used previous, but I don't use just as much no more.
Yeah. I mean, the Rupe stuff is pretty good, to be fair. Or Rupes, as you should say. I always say Rupes and get into trouble. It's Rupes. So, sounds like a no, but yeah, it's I'm a great fan of their products, and especially the new pads now. And you know,
they're incredible.
They're just absolutely phenomenal. You know, the sort of new pads and things. They just seem to be a breeze with cutting through paint, and so
exactly
easier. It's just unbelievable compared to what they used to be. I mean, I've always had problems with the backing, you know, sticking the backing pads actually sticking to the the actual machine itself.
Yeah, of course.
Velcro's not been brilliant, but these seem to be a lot better now. So
yeah, we've treated ourselves to a couple of new machines as well. So which has been really good. So it's nice to have nothing feels better than a brand new DA in your hand, does it?
No, exactly. Yeah, they're always good. So is it all Rupes you have, or do you have other machines, or?
Yeah, so we run Rupes right from the hybrid to we've got a couple of 15s, a rotary, the mini. This is what I've always felt comfortable. I tried that the battery powered Flex, is it? The mini Flex. I just didn't really like it. I didn't find it very torquey.
Yeah.
It just didn't feel like it had any power. So someone on some detailing selling site has got one for a very good price because I sold it on there.
Yeah. Right.
And purchased the Rupes.
Yeah, they're always handy to have different machines as well to try different things, because I mean you can't. Some people sort of think one machine's fine, but one machine can do everything.
No,
it's impossible.
Not with like the curvature and some of the lines that these cars are coming out with now. They're so incredible.
Yeah.
And and the hybrid just blows me away because they're so versatile. It's such a versatile tool.
Yeah.
It's absolutely brilliant. It's definitely a machine you should have in your arsenal before.
Yeah. Definitely.
I think before, if you keep it 15 and people think, oh, I want to get a 21, I'd go for the hybrid first.
Yeah.
And then save up again then for the 21.
Go for the 21, later day. So with do you actually do any mobile work, or is it all from a fixed premises, or is it all mobile, or?
So it's split really. So we're not very busy on mobile because we're quite busy in the studio at the moment.
Yep.
But yeah, we do offer a mobile service. We were offering it to quite a big area, but we've shrunk that right down now just to focus. As you know, cost of fuel is going up, so I don't really want to be driving out too far. But yeah, we have a really good mobile client base, some really nice cars that we look after. But yeah, we're quite stuck to the unit at the moment, which is really good.
Yeah, keep them busy with it.
Yeah, it's very good.
Where would you say most of your sort of work comes from?
A lot of my work comes through Facebook and Instagram. We've nailed that really, me and my IT guy. So we get a lot of drive through there, but then I'd say quite close second behind would be word of mouth. And we're really good with that. We've had people ring us and say, oh, you've done such and such cars, you've done such a good job, can you come out and do ours? And then that's been really good to us as well.
It's always good getting the word of mouth, isn't it? It's
rather
than somebody else recommending you, it's always good to get that sort of recommendation.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So obviously, with the mobile work, are you sort of limited on what you can do with coatings doing mobile, or?
Yeah, so since getting the unit, we've stopped coating outside. I know there's a couple of coatings out on the market which say they can be done outside, but we just prefer to keep it all in a nice dry environment. So on the van, the only thing we offer out on the van is just the valets. Now the medium, the mini, medium, and enhanced valet. All the serious big work, then we ask the customers to come down to the unit.
Yeah, so all like machine polishing.
Yeah, the machine polishing, all the leather repair is done there. Yeah, the wheel refurbing that we do. It's all done at the unit.
So do you actually refurbish alloys in as well?
We've built up a really nice network of people, of local companies as well that we use. So we offer packages to customers where they can drop a car off to us, and we will get everything done. 2 weeks ago, we had a Jag dropped off. He left us a monumental list and said, call me when it's done. So we had it serviced for him, brand new brakes, brand new tires, 4 wheels refurbed, leather repair, valeted, machine polished and ceramic coated. And then dropped it back to him 2 weeks later with a brand new car.
So that's quite a good sort of package there if you're doing, getting someone to do all the brakes and.
So we've just networked really well, and it's always really good to have people on your side as well. If I make a mistake with a wheel, I know that I can count on the alloy boys to just do a quick fix for me.
Well,
accidents happen, that's why we carry insurance. But
definitely, I mean, accidents happen all the time, so it's it is there for that reason. I mean, obviously there's a lot of companies out there that don't even have the insurance, and it's obviously very worrying when you sort of see people popping up and that's all of a sudden a detailer with no experience, haven't got a clue what they're doing, and they're working on cars worth hundreds of thousands, and next thing you know, they've gone through the paint and all of a sudden they've disappeared and you can never get hold of them ever again.
Yeah, with his machine polisher from Argos.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you know, it's never a good situation to be in when, when you've sort of, you've got somebody going around doing that. That's what then causes obviously bad names, for the industry.
Yeah.
So what, talking about bad names for the industry and, sort of how to sort of keep good names and things. What organizations are you members of?
So we're a member of the IDA.
Yep.
And the PVD.
Yeah.
I think that's it, really.
Yeah, two good organizations to be sort of accredited through. And
yeah, two great organizations. Yeah. Two really good organizations.
Yeah, so I mean, you've obviously got IDA, which is obviously PVD is more UK based, isn't it? Only, I think. They're UK based, aren't they? They're not really overseas, are they?
I don't think so, but we do get quite a lot of work for the PVD through the customer contact forms. So, for the couple of quid it costs a month, it definitely works out for us.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, because then we've spoken to other people and they're like, we don't get a single thing from PVD, and and it's
okay.
Then you get some people that are like, we're getting a lot from PVD,
So yeah.
It's obviously just. But I suppose with PVD, if they don't go back to Bert and say we're not getting anything and just leave, he can't tweak whatever advertising he's doing.
Exactly that. Yeah.
To get that better, do you know what I mean? So he can't obviously improve that unless people give him feedback.
Yeah.
It's the same with anything. If you go to a restaurant and your meal's poor, you're going to tell them.
Yeah.
If you don't tell them, they're just going to keep producing poor food. They can't correct something that's they don't know about. That they don't think they're doing wrong at the end of the day, can they?
Yeah, and it's great to have the Facebook groups, just so that you can reach out to people.
Yeah.
Because they're all experts on there. They're not going to talk down to you. They're not going to make fun of you, maybe for asking a question that was maybe not so obvious to you, but obvious to others.
Yeah.
So it's really good just to have people, just to, be your backup, be your support, really.
Yeah. I mean, obviously having all these private sort of groups, it's good because you've got people on there, like you say, that are the professionals.
Yeah, exactly that.
Like you do get with some groups, like sort of detailing groups on social media where you've basically got like a lot of keyboard warrior type things going on. A lot of people that sort of think they know that don't really know, that sort of create a problem for people.
Yeah.
That's where it sort of creates a bad name for industries, and it's just creates that sort of stigma of, giving the wrong information out there. At the end of the day, people that don't know what they're doing go on these sort of public forums to gain help.
Yeah.
When you've got somebody on there just spouting off about do this, do that, use this, use that, and it's actually the wrong information, some people believe that. But by the time some people that have given the good information can get back on there and tell them, they've probably gone and done that and ruined their car.
Yeah.
Or whatever it's going to be, boat, plane, whatever it is. They've ruined it by the time a good person's got back on there and actually corrected them, and at the end of the day, that person that's given that information is liable.
Yeah.
Because it's in the public domain. They've openly given advice and there's no disclaimer on there saying, the advice I'm giving you is, best to be checked before you apply these actions. They're not actually putting a disclaimer on there. So everybody that puts something on an open social media platform, that is their advice they're giving, and they are actually liable for that.
Liable for, yeah.
And if that is the wrong information, they should be held accountable. And that's the problem with it. Do you hold, like obviously go back in the day and it was like forums, you didn't sort of get Facebook and stuff. You had like obviously public forums on the internet.
Forums, yeah.
Forums were, we have our own forum, which is, we've restarted again. We were one of the companies with the only forum in the UK, Detailers Forum, and we've restarted. It's just getting people used to using that. Again, yes, it's slow getting people used to using it because it's obviously it's a different platform because everything's so easy with Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and things. But you've only got to get Facebook to go down like it did, what was it, a month ago?
Yep.
And there's all hell breaks loose. Some people literally have their businesses based on that platform. They have no website, no other presence. They literally have Facebook page. That's it. And if Facebook collapses, which it can quite easily do that, you've lost your business.
Yeah, you've lost a lot of ground.
Lost everything. And if nobody could get onto any of their pages, so they couldn't retrieve any data. They couldn't retrieve anything from it.
No.
And it's a very insecure platform. Whereas a website, you can get it's not really insecure, and it's great for organic traffic for Google and everything.
Yeah, definitely.
Whereas a Facebook page, it amazes me how people today that run a business don't have a website. They solely rely on Facebook or Instagram.
So I think it's a bit dangerous.
I would say it's extremely dangerous, yeah, because you sort of, you're putting your business at the mercy into somebody else's hands. You're basically letting them control your business because they can delete whatever they want without telling you. Just if they think it goes against a community standard or code or whatever, they can delete it and literally slow your traffic down completely just by pressing a button saying, oh, we want to slow these people this month. No matter what you do, you can spend more money on advertising. They'll still slow you down.
Yeah.
It's going to burn money. Whereas obviously, yes, Google could do the same, but they're more, Facebook's got quite a poor reputation as far as controlling things.
Yeah, I don't think it's very good for Facebook at the moment.
No.
Especially with their name change.
Yeah, with their name change to Meta or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And that's all because they're still under whatever it is in America. They've had to obviously go before the Senate and the president or whatever it was and give all their speech about how they're going to, radically change things to improve things, stop all the bullying, stop all the wrong information, stop everything that's going on, all the negativity on there, because they've been allowed to. I can't remember what it was. I'd read an article somewhere about the amount of different laws that they've broken in 1 year is into mega thousands around the world.
It wouldn't surprise me.
They've broken so many laws, and every country in the world has allowed them to get away with breaking these laws. It's because they're so big, governments won't step on them and say, stop it, because they're frightened. But you've got to do, America's just stood up to them and said, come here to the house and present yourself and tell us what you're going to do about it.
Yeah.
And they've said, well, we understand what you're going to do. We'll see how it goes. If it doesn't improve, we're shutting you down. And the American government's made that very, very clear. That if they don't improve it and make it better, they will shut Facebook down.
Yeah.
And now that's going to be quite catastrophic for companies that solely rely upon that medium.
Well, we can all join Donald Trump's new platform that he's designing.
Oh, what's he doing?
He's doing a social media platform as well, apparently.
Looney Tunes.
According to the news, yeah.
Oh, right. So he's doing one as well, is he?
Yeah.
And everywhere else.
Yeah, they'll be full of fake news.
Yeah. It'd be an interesting platform, no doubt, to see how it's run. But yeah, it'd be quite laughable, I think.
I think it'd be a comical.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like Elon Musk, isn't it? He's a lot of people don't like him, but I mean, he's obviously become the wealthiest man in the world now, overtaking Jeff Bezos and stuff at Amazon. And one thing that he said, I mean, that I completely agree with. He's offered to buy off Mark Zuckerberg to buy Facebook, and then he's just going to shut it. Because like I said, it's the biggest filth on the internet.
Yeah. I think it's the biggest downfall, to be honest.
I think it's the biggest downfall to the internet. There's so many things happen. It creates so much problems with people. Because, I mean, people don't think before they speak. That's the problem with it.
Yeah.
It's once they've typed that and put that onto social media, they have no idea. They think they're being clever, where they're sort of, you might get onto a forum and they're talking about somebody and they're having an argument or whatever, and they're talking about somebody and they'll put a load of stuff on there and they don't realize the damage that has actually on their business by putting that on there, by thinking they're being clever, by knocking somebody else.
Yeah, exactly.
And the thing is, and they're like, but nobody can see this. It's open and your customers could be on there before you know it.
Yeah.
And that's what you've got to be so careful of, because your customers could be watching what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Media, and it's such a difficult thing to deal with, and running any business, especially with most retailers, they're obviously alone running it, and it's a very sort of lonely place as it is.
Yeah.
When you're a detailer on your own and there's nobody else to talk to other than what you're looking at in the mirror of the car, that you're creating that mirror shine, you've got to literally talk to yourself. And it's a very sort of lonely, hard place to work sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah, it can be, definitely.
So obviously, when you're sort of detailing cars with that sort of in mind, how do you sort of combat that side of it, the sort of the mental health side, but the sort of the sort of loneliness side,
yes.
you on your own? How do you shut that out?
So I've constantly always got headphones on, so I'm always listening to something. If it's not a podcast, I just run Spotify on random.
Yep.
But one thing I just like to do is I just like to take regular breaks. I think, I think your quality of your work can slide a bit when you're, sat on your stool working your way up a car.
Yeah.
And you've sat there for, 40 minutes, an hour,
yeah.
and you maybe haven't got up because, you've got everything around you.
Yeah.
So, I think great for the mind is just to stand up, stretch the body. And I just tend to have a quick coffee and I go outside where my unit is. We're quite lucky. We've got loads of units around by us. My neighbors are great. So might just have a quick chin wag.
Yep.
Get some fresh air, get some sunlight, and then, pop the headphones back on and sit back on the stool and keep polishing.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very important. I mean, a lot of people sort of think, oh, I've got to get it done now, and they just carry on working and working and working.
Yeah.
The thing is, I mean, it ends up with a negative effect because you're not really that productive.
Yeah, exactly that.
So, mistakes start to happen. You're getting tired and, things slip and things go wrong. You don't quite pay attention to certain things. And
exactly.
And that's when all these mistakes happen. Whereas taking, it's very important that you take, for your own state of mind, that you take a religious break at a certain, even if it's the same time every single day.
Yeah.
Break, and it's, even if it's only 20 minutes, just take that break, deal with it, and just sort of focus on something completely different. Get away from the work. Even like you say, walk outside, forget what's behind you in the unit, just walk outside and just look around you, sort of take a different aspect on things for 20 minutes, and have a cup of coffee out there, or like you say, speak to somebody else.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do. I'll go and have a chin wag and drink my coffee and
pick up the phone and ring a loved one or a friend, you know what I mean? And somebody, and it's a different, it's just sort of, you forget what you're working on.
Yeah, and you just take your head and your mind out of that, of trying to achieve, perfection, so to speak, when you're working on a customer's car.
Well, yeah, because there's nothing worse than, sort of trying to work on something. I don't think people sort of, I don't think some clients really quite understand how difficult it is being a detailer as well. Because when you're trying to work on something, when you're focused on trying to get this problem shifted from the paint, I don't think they quite realize how sort of focused you are and how your brain is really focused onto that sort of situation, and how sort of demanding that can be on your mental health as well. I don't think people sort of quite realize how much that can affect, because you're really focused on just that situation.
Yeah, it's quite exhausting on the mind as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's not only is it exhausting. I mean, obviously it's exhausting on the body with the machine, with your constant like this, with vibration running through your hands, and no matter whether you've got anti-vibration gloves, you're still going to get some coming through. It affects your shoulders, your hands, your back, and people just don't realize, that the effect that it has on everything. Really.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I think if you sort of could say to a customer, this is why I charge whatever, 300 quid, 400 quid, £1,000 for the job, whatever it is, this is why I charge what I charge. Here's a machine. Go and have a go yourself. Yeah. I think they'd soon think, after a few minutes,
soon change their minds. Yeah.
You just carry on doing what you're doing. You're doing a great job. I think sometimes you've got to sort of get customers to sort of see it in a different light, appreciate why you charge what you charge at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's why I love having customers down at the factory as well, down the workshop as well. Especially when you've got a car in the detailing bay and it's all masked up and it's half of it's looking rubbish and half of it's looking really good. And then they've brought their car down to chat about having some major work done, and you can be like, oh well, this is something that we're working on, this is what we aim to achieve. We've been doing this for 1.5 days now, and they go, oh, it takes that long. Yeah, that's why we charge so much, because it's very labor intensive. And that usually gives them a swing then for book me in.
It's amazing. I don't know what some customers sort of think. I don't know whether they think it's sort of like, when we've said to them before, we need it for like 3-4 days or whatever, and they're like, can't I have this back in the morning?
I've had it. Can I have it back?
Get it back for lunchtime? No, I might have washed it by then. Why wouldn't? When would you not start to wash it? No, that's the wash process. What? 4 hours? Yeah, if you're lucky. If it's not really dirty, it's 4 hours. And they're like, I can take it to the hand car wash and get it done in 5 minutes. Yeah, and they can probably do 3 days worth of damage at the same time.
Yeah, exactly that.
So it's, but I think it still amazes me now that how amazed some people are that it takes so long to do something when you're doing it properly. And they're like, well, why the hell does it take so long? Because we're doing it right.
That's why I think it's really good to just try and educate customers as best as you can. Because as soon as they got a better perspective of what the goal is, and also they tend to look after their car a bit more than afterwards. They've always asked, "Oh, what shampoo should I buy now? How should I wash this now? What can I do? What can I avoid?" Which is great for us because we make up small bottles of shampoo, so we add an extra £5 on for a bottle of shampoo, and little add-ons like that.
So get good add-on sales, and then customers know where to come back for it when they need it as well.
Exactly that. Yeah.
Obviously, with the sort of backtrack slightly. So talking about sort of business and one thing there, that obviously with COVID, how did the business go through COVID? How did you? How were you surviving?
Well, without the very few grants that we were actually allowed to have, we just got through. Yeah. It's still touch and go now. We've a lot of our disposable income was eaten up. So still it's a bit now like making sure that we've always got money in the bank to cover the bills and make sure there's consistent cash flow coming in. But weirdly enough for us, the second lockdown we had in Wales was a lot harder on business for us. I don't know why. I don't know whether it's just more people took it a bit more serious or not. But the second lockdown we had a lot of days where we were just twiddling our thumbs, and I don't do very well sat in the house. I like to be out and
out and about doing things.
So being told that I'm going to be locked in 4 walls for the next, I can't even remember how many days it was. I was just more worried about my mental health and money coming in. I've got a new daughter, and I'm the provider. I got to keep the roof over our head.
Yeah, we were very lucky that we were the busiest we'd ever been, so we were able to go to work. But I think if we'd have been locked in between the same 4 walls, I think it would have been a different story. We were lucky enough to have a garden, so we were very lucky that it was very good weather. I think the weather was an actual saviour for a lot of people's mental health, to be fair. That the weather was actually so good that it helped an enormous amount of people. And I think that's what sort of got a lot of companies through.
I'd just have days where I'd go to their workshop and just sweep the floor. Just so that I felt like I achieved something that day.
Got out and about and literally done something.
Clean the toilet and
we were. I mean, it was for us. It was mega busy. We were literally. It was absolutely crazy. I mean, we on average, you maybe doing sort of 30 parcels a day, and it had gone to well in excess of over 250 a day on some of the days. It was just, and that was just 2 people, myself and Carolyn. But we were, and not only that, we're not just packing, we're having to manufacture the product as well. And we kept up with all that because we can dig our heels in and do it all, even though we have all the staff to help us, but we can do it between us. But the problem we had was bottle supplies, as a lot of companies did. Was actually getting the bottles. So we were literally scraping the bottom of the barrel, so to speak, excuse the pun, but we were literally scraping the bottom of the barrel to get bottles. We were even getting, because we keep all samples we get through from companies with labels on, in case we, if we think of something, we're going to go back and think that bottle's quite nice. We were even taking up the labels to take the labels off the bottles, taking a photograph of the bottle, taking the labels off it, sticking it on sheets of paper with the photo on, and putting it back in the box for this company's samples. We were literally rounding up bottles from everywhere you could think of. Try to get bottles to complete orders. It was crazy.
I never known anything like it. No gloves, no bottles, no chemicals on the auto smart trucks. Well,
it was just everything. It's masks. It was everything. It was just.
It was a challenging time. It was very hard. Obviously, the first lockdown, I got to spend some days with you. On the first lockdown, I was at your factory. Then another, but the second lockdown was very difficult. It's
we sort of found that the second lockdown, we sort of had it with a few people in Wales that we know, and they were like, it was sort of harder for them in Wales for the second lockdown, but in England it was sort of more, I don't know, people didn't seem to take it seriously. We were still just going around doing the daily chores and thought we've had enough of this. And there was more traffic on the road during the second lockdown than there was even before lockdown ever began. It was just gone crazy.
Yeah. I think I lost, you know, a handful of jobs where customers were texting me and saying, cancel the valet for tomorrow. Kids were bored, so they washed the car with dad. And I would be like, oh, okay, never mind, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I lost a couple of jobs through that.
Yeah. Weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it's mad.
You obviously take like deposit systems.
Yeah. So learning our lesson from late cancellations. Yeah. So we drive as much traffic as we can through the website because you have to pay full upfront and agree to the booking T's and C's.
Yeah. Yeah.
Online. So you are, if you do cancel, you are entitled to some of your refund, but you're not all.
No, I mean, at the end of the day, if someone's cancelled the day before their job, then there's no chance you're ever going to get that another vehicle put into that day. Then they've got
exactly,
yeah. You know, they've got to understand and pay the sort of, you know, the fees for obviously cancelling. It's simple.
Yeah, and that's just another, you know, business lesson to learn. Really is, don't be too soft on people because you'll just get taken for a mug.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that's the problem with it. And if you are too soft, then people will, you know, do that. They will take you for a mug or a ride or whatever you want to call it. You know, and and some people sort of say, oh, he's very hard-faced in business. I don't think they're very hard-faced. All they're thinking of is that's our money and you're messing with it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And why should I let you mess with my money? We've done the work. Just pay me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You've let me down. We're keeping it. We're keeping that percentage of it. Tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. We sort of have it with people with training, and you know, we sort of say the only time really cancellation will be refunded is, you know, is if your partner or someone extremely close to you has passed away.
Yeah.
You know, if you're ill, then we'll rebook.
Yeah.
You know, if someone then keeps saying, well, you know, I want my money back, well, we'll rebook.
Yeah.
You know,
because you're not going to get the person on that space, then, are you?
For
your training.
Exactly. You're just not going to get them, you know, and they're like, well, surely you said the course was full. Surely you can get somebody else and you were over full. Well, not at short notice like that, because they've got to book hotels and everything else. Yeah. They've got to make sure, you know, if they've already got a company themselves as a detailer, they've got to change work that they've got in. They then stand the risk of that customer saying, tell you what, forget it, I'll go elsewhere. They could then go elsewhere, and they could have been a customer of theirs for 10 years, but then never ever go back to them. You know, so they've lost big time. So there's a lot to it when you sort of start cancelling things and messing things around. Again, I don't think some customers really appreciate that side of it either, what effect that has on someone's company.
Yeah, definitely not. Yeah, they just think doesn't matter, you know.
Exactly, it doesn't matter to them, and
yeah, it doesn't matter to them. Yeah,
and it does have an effect on so many different things. And I think anybody sort of starting out, you know, a business, no matter what business that is, a lot of people don't really realize the full ins and outs of starting out a business.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, some people say, oh, I can do this, I can do that, I can run a business. And then when it comes down to it, I mean, we've had it with people in the past with our detailing business many, many years ago when we were doing like mobile detailing work, like 20 odd years ago. And staff working for us, and they've suddenly left, and they're like, you know, what are you leaving for? I've had enough. You're not the best boss in the world, apparently, blah, blah, blah. Even though we treat our staff like kings and queens, you know, look after them all the time and randomly bring them gifts and stuff. And then the next thing is they're set up on their own, and it's like, now we know why you actually left. You set up on your own. Well, when you want your job back, come and see me and we'll have a chat.
Yeah.
Oh, I won't be needing my job back. I can do this. This is easy. Month and a half later, they're coming back. Rick, can I have my job back? Why? What's the problem? Well, it's really hard. Oh dear.
Yes.
Well, what about my job? Sorry, mate, it's filled.
Filled, yeah.
Prepared to work hard's got it. You know, and people do. We've had it before with detailers. All they see is sort of pound signs, thinking it's, you know, with valets, they see pound signs, think we can do this. There's so much more to just washing a car.
Yeah.
You know, with running a business, you've got everything to take care of. You know, you've only got to be ill yourself, and then you've got no income coming in.
Yeah, exactly that.
And you've got to have insurance to cover that. You know, there are insurances out there that can cover you for being ill, but again, some you kick in after 5 days. You know, and
Yeah, they don't. People don't realize you got to play the role of like 5 people when you run a business. You got to be the worker, the
Yeah,
HR, the payroll,
exactly.
the admin. The boss.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a massive eye opener for it definitely was for me as well.
And the thing is, not only have you got to be all those people, you've got to actually know them you got to know those positions inside out.
Yeah.
And the government won't help you. They'll just be
Nope.
like, you're running a business, you should know.
Yeah, exactly that.
You tell me how to do this. Nope. Go on our website, find it.
Yeah, and if you don't get it right, you get fined by the government.
Yeah, and if you don't get it right, we're going to fine you.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I'm going to be late paying my tax this month. Well, we're going to fine you.
Yeah.
Oh, you owe me some. You'll get it next month.
Yes.
Oh, well, I get it next month when I've got to pay you this month. Well, we're the government. We can do what we want.
Exactly that.
It's people don't realize there's all these different things to do with running a business. It is very, very, very difficult.
Yeah.
I think with anybody starting out with a business, I think the best sort of advice I could ever give anybody is do your homework.
Yeah,
Investigate
definitely.
the business that you're going to run, but not the actual industry itself. Investigate the industry, but I would actually investigate how to run a business to get that help that you need. Have a mentor, speak to that mentor, or even have several of them. Most of the time, mentors that are in business are more than willing to help you free of charge, because that's what they love doing. They're successful at their business and they love to help people.
Yeah.
We have mentors that we call upon every now and then, and I mean, one of them I called upon them, and one guy said to me, you know what, Richard, I'm actually honored that you've actually asked me to come and help you and give you information. And I'm thinking, your company turns over so much money, I'm like pocket change to you every day.
Yeah.
And this guy is an extremely successful guy, a company turning over millions of pounds a month. And he was honored that I had asked him for some advice. And I'm thinking it should be the other way around. And this guy was, and he was like, he said, I'm truly gobsmacked that you've asked me. He said, I'm absolutely honored that you've asked me to help you. And I'm like, I said to the guy, I'm like, it's me that's honored that you're helping me. And he's like, no, honestly, he said, trust me. He said, I can't believe, he said, he said, I'm truly honored. I'm blown away that you've even asked me. And I'm like, this is really shocking. But these people are there. They are prepared to help. If you've got these people that are clients of yours, ask them, because they will help you. And I think that's where people go wrong that are starting a business. They're too pig-headed, and it's not a weakness. It's not, you're not being weak by asking for help. You're actually being strong because these people want to help you, because they want you to succeed. Other businesses want you to succeed. And it's, people seem to sort of forget that side of it.
Yeah. I think it's forgetting that you don't know it all, is what my dad would say. You don't know it all, so ask.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with asking. It's like I've always said, the only stupid question is not asking the question.
Yeah.
And that's the only time somebody is being stupid. If you don't ask the question, then you're stupid, because what can either be said to you? Either get the information or they say no.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's what could be worse, no or yes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if they say no, then find another thing to do. It's like we had a dream 20 odd years ago, with our leather business, and we wanted our detailing business, and the leather was a bolt on at the time. And we've sort of been doing the leather for sort of 30 odd years. But I mean, at the time, the leather was always a bolt on to the main business. And we had a dream with our detailing business, and that was to be in every country around the world. We wanted to have the first sort of franchised detailing business throughout the whole world. And we wanted to have a office in every country, in every country in the world. Well, we haven't achieved that, but we've done it with leather instead. So we're still involved with cars, but we've just diversified with it. We've not done it with detailing. We've just done it with leather work. So it's the same sort of thing, but just slight diversification to what we actually wanted. But we've still achieved what we wanted in reality, because we're around the world, and that's what we always set out to do. You've got to be prepared to be flexible when you're in business, I think, as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So I mean, obviously, from when you first started, how much have you changed since you first started to now?
Ooh, massively. I think growing the business, growing the brand, making sure that you're not a little fish on Facebook, on social media, really, is a massive thing. and just trying to keep myself ahead of competition. That's why we did the leather training, because we were consistently asked,
Yep.
do you know anyone that fixed bolsters? Do you know anyone that fixed bolsters? And that's when I approached you.
Yeah.
But yeah, changing wise, yeah, we've just got old. Lost a few more strands of hair.
Yeah.
Beyond
now.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm just growing a strong brand, really, growing a strong business. And working with a certain client, when we first started, we would just sort of try and clean anything really to build a business, and then you realize that those people aren't going to pay the nicer prices that you want to charge, because you want to be a slightly higher end valeter or detailer,
Yeah.
So it was just changing the business in that way, really, of getting away from cleaning, really grotty Astras and stuff, to where we are now, where we get to work on some, really nice cars and valet some really nice cars.
Yeah.
But we don't forget where we've come from.
Exactly.
We still work on the odd grotty car.
Yeah.
They just pay a little bit more now. They don't pay £15 when I first started, I think.
Yeah.
And I'm there 4 hours.
That's cheap. And that was like 4 years ago.
Yeah, 4 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, 15 quid. Bloody hell. And what
Yeah.
do you do for that? Wash your wheel?
That was inside and out.
Oh my lord.
Yeah, that was inside and out.
Yeah.
I went for it. And yeah, it just every couple of months it always went up in price, and the customers that didn't want to pay it filter out, and then all of a sudden you build this really nice clientele, and you get customers, and the customers that appreciate you, appreciate your work, and at least attempt to look after the cars as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's like, I think they have a thing in America what they call caravans, which is basically people carriers.
Yes.
They're like, I want to start a detailing business, or I'm doing a detailing business, and I'm sick of the caravans. I don't want the goddamn caravans anymore. I'm sick of these things full of crap, full of all the goodies, full of all the kids' sweets and the toys, the dirt. They've been to the beach, they've been to wherever, they've been to the desert. It's absolutely full of garbage. There's dirt, there's dog hairs, there's grime, there's sick, there's everything everywhere, and I just don't want the caravans.
Yeah. We've priced it out.
Yeah, we've done them, and my God, they are demanding.
Yeah.
Shall we say demanding, to say that?
Yeah, I don't touch them. No. I just if people ring me with a VW and they've had it converted, I just say, look, I just stay out the back. It's I don't want to be going through the back of your van and finding old socks and whatnot. So I'll do the cab, and we'll do all the outside as we normally do, but we won't go in the back. And they're happy with that. So
I mean, we've done some cars, and some of the things we've found is quite interesting.
Yes, we'll keep it clean for
Yeah, but they certainly won't clean what we found, I can tell you.
Yes.
That's for sure.
We've all found it.
Yeah. Some of the things we've found in the past been quite frightening. And it's actually quite appalling with some of the things that we found, that people would actually put them in a car or a glove box.
In a glove box, yeah.
Yeah, quite shocking, really.
Or in that pouch behind the driver's or passenger seat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you stick your hand in there to get everything. Like, ugh.
Yeah.
What was that? Yeah, we've all been there, I think, and then looked and thought, I'm not wearing gloves. God, did I touch?
Yeah.
And then you pull one out, and it's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Not good. So, obviously, with doing the mobile work, you're just sort of doing standard valeting. You're not now. You got the factory. They've got the studio, doing no machining, no coatings. Everything does, like, that side of it it's through the studio.
Yeah, all for the studio. Yeah.
So, and how many sort of vehicles can you get in the studio?
We're quite lucky. We've got a big studio, so we have currently 4 cars in storage, which stay with us over the winter months, which leaves us about 3 more bays.
Okay.
For us to do more work. So we bought a lightning tunnel. I can't remember what they're called I think it was from Get It Lit, I think, or Get Lit LED or something. Which is great. It stands right at the back of our workshop. We've done the floor with the same people that did yours, impact tiles.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it looks great. So I consistently mop the floor because it gets dusty from the dust
Yeah.
off the machines. But yeah, it looks great when it's all lit up, and we got nice cars in there, and we got some nice cars in storage as well.
Yeah. I like flooring. What do you think to it? I think it's good, especially
Yeah.
considering what the alternatives are when it's like double or triple the price.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I dropped an air tool and it did crack it completely annihilated a little groove in it or whatever it's called. I should phone him really and ask him to change it, but
yeah,
because they're guaranteed, aren't they, for life?
I think so. Yeah, I've noticed. We noticed on just in our door the other day where there's like a little one. It must be about that big, about an inch long, a piece that's come out, and I've managed to sort of push it back into position again, but it had cracked there. So I mean,
Yeah.
I could quite easily sort of say to him, it's gone wrong. The only thing we've had with it, which I think you'll get with most plastic things, is static. So touching metal is static, but he got me some spray. Now, anybody that's got sort of plastic flooring like that in their workshops, I'm sure they will get like a static charge off it because of what it's creating, unless you can sort of earth it through the ground, which you're not going to be able to do with earth spikes and things. Is we got this anti-static spray that he recommended, and we now bought some from this company, and we applied this anti-static spray quite some months ago, probably, I don't know, maybe 4 months ago, whatever it is, 5 months ago, maybe, if not longer, probably longer than that. Probably been on there 6 months, in fact, and it's just about starting to wear off. I actually got a couple of shocks off it today, off touching metal.
Yeah, okay.
Prior to that, I've had absolutely nothing. So it does actually work. So if people do have that in detailing studios where you've got like your plastic sort of raised deck flooring down, you're getting like a shock off it, like electric shoulder shock. There's this product that we've got. I'll have to send you a screenshot of
it. Yeah, definitely.
And it does work really well. I've just literally sprayed all the floor, and it's worked really well. Because obviously everything around us is metal in the studio. It's
of course.
Detailing side. We've got all the cabinets, obviously the roller shutter. Every time I went to grab the metal on the roller shutter, it was almost like making a hair stand on my head. It's like shocking straight through my hand. And it was so bad. I was moving the pallet truck one day, and I touched the cabinet, and you literally saw great big spark. Like, Jesus Christ. It was that much static going through it. It was really.
You've got quite a lot of it down on your floor, haven't you?
Yeah, it's quite a fair bit. Yeah. It's the whole room. So it's quite a. But we just sprayed the whole floor, and I think we had a 500 ml bottle, and I just sprayed the whole floor a couple of times. Literally stopped it dead. It was absolutely brilliant. Literally stopped it dead. So it's definitely worth doing it. So if you do get static, it's worth buying this thing. We now bought a gallon of it, and so we're going to be doing it again shortly once we've got all the pallets out that we've got in at the moment. It's got to go abroad. We're just going to redo the floor with it, but it works really well.
Cool. Yeah,
I'll send you pictures of it.
Yeah, I'll have to grab that off you.
Yeah, if anybody else wants to know, just inbox us. We can tell you what the company is that we've got this anti-static floor spray stuff from. You can spray on your flooring in your detailing studios on the flooring, and it works really well. So if anybody wants to know that, just inbox us and talk to me, and we can get you the names of these people anyway, so it's no problem. What's the next steps for the business? Where's it?
So we've had a lot of inquiries about PPF. So we've been doing a bit of research there. So I think we're going to go with Suntech. We've been in contact with them. They're hoping to start up training. They've stopped it all because of COVID. So they're hoping to start up for January, February. So yeah, we're going to hope to jump on that training, so that we can really sell a nice complete package of cars, of having them machine polished, PPF'd, and then even a front end PPF, and then the rest of the car ceramic coated. I think that's definitely the place to take the business. It's expensive outlay, but we think the return will be much better.
Certainly a lot of people are having it.
I've been asked for it a couple of times, and there's not a lot of people around by us that do it, so
I think it's
try and get on it. Try and get on it early, see if we can try and make a head start in the market.
I still think it's still quite an early thing, to be fair with everybody at the moment. There's not
definitely.
I think it's still quite an early sort of thing, really, with what it is. And I think it's like with a lot of things, I think it's going to evolve and develop and get better, and different things will come in, and technology will appear with it, and so on and so forth. And I think it'll all sort of it'll all change. But I mean, obviously, with the sort of we've sort of heard a few people sort of saying car manufacturers are relinquishing warranties because you've put coatings on cars and PPF on cars, and so people just have to be a little bit careful on that one, because obviously it's just another way. It's another get out for a manufacturer to get out of a warranty on something where something's gone wrong, because they're like, nah, if you'd have just left it alone, the car would have been fine.
Yeah.
So it's just, it's just another get out, because a car manufacturer wants your car to be trashed, in 5 years max, so they want you to go and buy a new one.
Yeah, of course.
That's the whole idea of it. They want that car trashed in 5 years and go and buy another one. So it's not, and of course they don't want you protecting and preserving that paint. So they want you to trash it as quick as you can. And that's what they're after. Talking about obviously things sort of preserving and stuff. How are you getting on so far as like electric vehicles and things?
We've done a couple of Teslas. We regularly look after. I can't remember what VW's. I think it's the electric replacement for the Tiguan. I think it's an E or an I or something.
Yeah, Econ or something stupid, isn't it?
Yeah.
E-tron? No, that's the Q7s, isn't it? It is something like that. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I just can't remember the name of it.
Just the one thing I can't stand about him is that why hasn't an electric vehicle got any nice wheels?
Yes. Yeah.
The Mercedes that I look after, the 4x4, has got 200 million spokes. Yeah. The e-tron is not just far behind it. Tesla's pretty much come with
the spin lids.
Plastic spin lids.
Yeah.
I just haven't really seen an electric car with nice wheels yet. I can't wait to see one.
No.
But yeah, I think you're getting a lot more. We've got another Tesla coming in next week. It's on its boat already, coming over here.
Yeah.
He's just waiting for it to be delivered, or to reach the UK.
Yeah.
But they see him for Cars for Life, so they're spending quite a lot of money with me to have a huge, ceramic coat.
Yeah.
Which is good in one way, because I get a lot of money, but then I might not see that car very regularly then for maintenance, because it just doesn't need it.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. So I mean, that's obviously the downside, isn't it? Coatings, once they're done, don't really see the cars again. So
I think that with PPF, I think that could be a killer to our trade as well. Where if we're wrapping cars, and I think PPF is guaranteed for about 8 years. I think, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
Thereabouts. From yellowing and cracking.
Yeah.
But yeah, you pull the
self heals and everything. So I mean,
with it self healing as well. I think if your returning customer comes back after 5 years, you might be peeling it off, a little bit of paint correction, and putting another coat back on, and putting another PPF back on, and
exactly.
I think that might be a challenge to our industry, is if more people PPF, and as it gets bigger to customers as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of people sort of say, oh, we only do ceramics, and it's we don't do anything else. And I sort of look at it almost and think, what, that's why I still like doing hand waxes, even though we do ceramics. That's why I still like offering the hand wax side.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, really, you hand wax cars? I'm like, yeah, we do. Christ, you must be a glutton for punishment. No, actually, because they're called repeat customers.
Yeah.
I've put a wax, put a ceramic on a car. And I would actually say every car I've ceramicked in the last 6 years, I've never seen those customers again unless they bought a brand new car. They look after them themselves, and they've all turned around and said, they're so brilliant, we just don't need to come back to you.
Yeah, exactly that.
We can maintain it ourselves. You've told us how to do it. We can do it all with the products that we're buying. We just don't need to come in for maintenance details or washes anymore. We can do this.
Yeah.
So you are actually doing yourself a bit of a injustice, really.
Yeah.
Because you've lost all that regular work. You might have these big chunks of cash coming in, but you've not got that regular flow all the time of clients coming through the door and coming back, and that's where if they came in and maybe did a machine correction on it, and you put a coat of wax on it, and instead of charging £1,000, because it's ceramic, you maybe charge 500 quid or 600 quid or whatever. And then, in 2 months' time, they come back and have a hand wax done on it, a wash and a wax or whatever, charge them another 85 quid. Doing that sort of like, I don't know, maybe come in once and do that, and then maybe 4 times, 5 times a year, you've got more than what you would have done for the ceramic anyway.
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
you've got it for, maybe 6 times the following year and 6 times the following year again,
Yeah.
if they're coming doing it that way. So you're sort of getting an extra sort of almost 600 quid a year customer.
Yeah.
Whereas you do it once and they've gone. You never see them again.
Yeah. Yeah. I think with PPF, especially with, like I said, with it self-healing.
Yeah.
I don't think you might not probably see that customer, like I said, until it started yellowing or cracking or peeling on the edges.
Yeah. Exactly. Which is, highly unlikely that it would happen, for quite some years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it is. I mean, people don't think of these things. They're always like, oh, sort of glory. We're just going to do this. We're just going to do that. And they don't think of that bigger picture.
Yeah.
And that sort of boils down to what we were saying earlier, investigate your business before you start it. Make sure you know what you're doing. Make sure you know what money you've got coming in, and look at what the pitfalls are, and doing ceramics, in my opinion, and doing all the PPF can be a pitfall to a business.
Yeah.
That regular flow of clients coming through the door.
Yeah. Yeah. We do see about half of our ceramic cars, but not as regularly as we see some of our regulars.
Yeah.
I think we had a Tesla in 2 months ago, which we ceramic coated it with matrix black, just like up to 8 years. They advertise it as up to 8 years.
Yeah.
Came into us last week, and it was such a dream to wash. It was just, it just fell off, the dirt, and the only thing that we spent so much time on is the seats and the carpets, cleaning the carpets out. But yeah, like you said, we won't see that customer now again for another 2-3 months.
No, exactly. I mean, we had it with a customer where we used to go out to weekly, and there was one car that they had, and they said, this car's going to London, so we want you to ceramic coat it, but we don't want any of our others doing. And we've been going for them for the years, but they're like, we don't want any of the other ceramic coating. Just come in and do your weekly valet. They were all brand new cars, under 3 years old, but we want this one ceramic coated. It's going to go to London. It's only going to come back at weekends. So you're not coming out at weekends. You're only here on a Monday. It's not going to see you. So we need to just wash it off the easiest way. That one car, the guy owned it for 5 years, and after we'd ceramic coated it, we never saw that car or touched it ever again. And it looked, when they sold it, eventually when they said to me, can you get the car ready for sale? The ceramic just was on the car still. The dirt just fell off it. It protected it. It didn't really need much doing to it. A quick hoover inside. We literally put a coat of hand wax on the outside just to brighten it up a little bit, even though it had the ceramic on it. And it was ready to go. You didn't really need to see it. So we'd done ourselves an injustice, really, by saying put a ceramic on it. Whereas we were going once every week and doing, and I'm talking like 15, 20 years ago. I mean, we were going once every week, every Monday, and doing a wash and a quick, either a detailer spray or a hand wax. We would do a detailer spray one week and a hand wax the following week, is how we used to do it. Do it that way. And we were charging 50 quid a car per week, and we'd have like 4 cars to go and do that. And between 2 of us, we'd be done within a couple of hours. So, I mean, it was reasonable money.
Yeah.
But if we'd have ceramic coated those cars, we'd have never have had all that. You'd have never have ever seen that money coming in. We'd have ceramic coated them once, maybe charged 1,000 quid per car. You'd have never seen them again for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, or whatever it is they have them.
Yeah.
Whereas we were going in and earning 50 quid per car off every week. And if we'd have ceramic coated it, we'd have never
seen any of it.
No. And I think that's where people sort of look at things thinking, oh, it's easy to do a ceramic. And it can be a downfall to a company as well, because people don't need to have them done as frequently. So you've got to be very proactive with your advertising. You've got to be constantly on the search for new customers rather than, keeping your old ones. You're literally on the search for new clients all the time.
Yeah.
And the only repeat customer you're going to get is maybe once every 3 or 5 years from that customer when they come back to you.
Yeah.
It's not a very good repeat customer. It's not a very good business model to have.
No,
once every 3 years they buy from you. It's not the greatest business plan, is it? Once every 3 years. So, there are a lot of challenges with being in business. So people just need to obviously, there's people out there that can help, and there's a lot of things to take into consideration to start in a company, definitely.
Yeah.
And it's not
100%.
It's mentally, physically, and bank balance as well. It's the whole thing, has to be taken into consideration. It's even after all these years of doing it now, I sometimes think, why the hell am I doing it?
Yeah.
Why am I doing this? Why am I putting myself through all this punishment? I could just easily go and work for somebody and earn 50 grand a year and be actually happy and financially free, whereas now you got, up to here with things. And it's like, why the hell am I doing this? Why do I put myself through this?
Yeah, there's definitely been a few times where I wanted to throw the towel in, even over the last few months.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's we get that. I think it was the beginning of this year where we had a couple of things go wrong. And normally when things go wrong for us, you'll get 3 or 4 things go wrong. We don't just get one thing go wrong. A whole catalogue of things will go wrong. We had a whole catalogue of things going wrong. And it was during the middle of the day. And I think it was just myself and Carolyn in. And I got the key in my pocket and I'm starting to pack up. And she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, that's it. I've had enough. We're going home. We're shutting up. She's like, you can't quit now. I'm like, I've had enough. I don't know whether I can take it. And she's like, you're a fighter. And in the end, I just stood there crying. She's like, this is ridiculous. You've got to pull yourself together. I'm like, I've had enough. I just can't take anymore. And it was just one of those days where everything was just going wrong and everything was going wrong. And it was just like, why now? You know what I mean? But here we are now, new website, new branding.
Yeah, new brand.
Totally different outlook on life. And yeah, you just got to pull yourself together and you've got to look in the mirror and have a chat, have a conversation with the boss, and see where you were going wrong and correct it. Do you know what I mean? And that's what you've got to do. You literally got to chat with yourself because, you've got to have a chat with the boss. Do you know what I mean? And pull your act together and get on with it.
Yeah, definitely.
So we have a closing question that we always ask everybody.
Oh, God.
Some people think, Christ, this is a hard one. So you might find it very hard. You might not quite grasp what it is, but you might do. So here we go. Last question. If you could have told yourself one piece of information when you first started in business that you now know, what would it be?
It'd probably be, don't be too pig-headed or too scared to ask for help.
Yeah.
And ask for advice.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the best bit of advice I'd give myself if I was to start all over again. Yeah. It's trying to that thing of just thinking you know it all and Google. I know Google gives you a lot of answers, but maybe sometimes those answers aren't the correct ones.
Yes. Yeah. On whose input it in the first place.
Yeah, and those mistakes they cost. Some mistakes have cost the business financially, and some haven't, and we've been able to recoup money that we've lost.
Yeah.
From simple things like not knowing how to run payroll properly, and I pay an accountant every year, and I didn't ask him the question because I was too scared to, because I thought he'd laugh at me.
Yeah, exactly.
And we paid thousands way too much to the tax man, and I made his job harder because he had to get it all back for me.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
and I think that's the problem with it, which is what we were saying before. It's no question is a daft question. Only not asking is the daft question. And it's don't be frightened to ask for help and advice. And I think another key one that people sort of say as well with this sort of question is get as much training as you can possibly get.
Definitely, yeah, I'd second that.
As much training as you can possibly get, and get people behind you that you can get help from.
Yeah.
That doesn't have to be business partners. It's just colleagues, it's friends, it's maybe people that own businesses that are there that that will help you. And I think that is two of the most important pieces of advice I could give anybody is don't be shy to ask a question, and make sure you get plenty of training, and always be prepared to learn. Even after you've been trained, do more training,
Yeah.
And that's the one thing I love about people that I see, on sort of through the IDA, I'm looking at people like, Peter LeBois Davis and stuff. I mean, he's going on training courses still, and he's been doing this for years. There's other people out there that go on training courses that's been doing this for years and years and years. And, Dave Reed down in down Cornwall way, I'm going to see on Friday, Saturday morning. And he's another one. These guys go on training courses to still learn now, and they've been doing this for years and years and years. And we learn, we discover, we'll find a new leather and we'll learn about that. So we're learning, and I think that's the key thing is with anybody that's in business, don't think you know everything.
No, you definitely don't.
Because you don't.
No. You'll always learn something new almost every day.
Every single day. Yeah. And we learned something new today. And that was the Audi TT, the guy that brought in for his training course for his seats. that he was told was leather, they're actually fake from an Audi TT.
Wow.
And they're just, and if you go into the private help group, you'll see there's a video there. But
Okay.
they're completely fake. Just shocking. And there was just something about them. I touched it and I said, this just feels cold. It doesn't feel like it should do, and it's just something not right about it. Anyway, I was right. It turned out it was completely fake.
Wow.
So yeah, you learn to do every day. And I thought all sort of Audis had, good quality, German engineering, great leather. Sadly not, no.
Oh, wow.
And it's actually opened up an eye-opener for a few people that own Audi TTs, funnily enough. So,
Yeah.
There you go. So social medias, how do people get hold of you? How do they find True Perfection Detailing in Wales, South Wales?
So they can find us through Google or through Facebook,
Yep.
Instagram. I believe we've shut Twitter because it was just too much time and no return as well.
Yeah.
Or through Google, and obviously navigate through our website or
and what's the website?
It's trueperfectiondetailing.com.
Okay, cool. And then obviously Facebook is that just again True Perfection Detailing and Instagram True Perfection Detailing.
Yeah.
No underscores, hyphens or anything like that.
No, just all one word. Yeah. So we're all there. Our presence is pretty strong on social media. That's something that we worked really hard with.
Yep.
And it gets us a good return. Good.
Excellent. That's what you need.
Yeah.
So there we go, guys. Thank you very much, Lewis. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
You were nervous at the beginning, but you've managed to flow very, very nicely, and not as hard as what you think it is it?
No, it's not too bad.
Good. Excellent. So
thanks, Rich.
No problem, Lewis. That's Lewis Hart from True Perfection Detailing in South Wales. Thank you very much, Lewis.